Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sandra's Stenography and Shorthand Dictation. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. I'm always doing these videos in the evening when I get off from work. So here we are at Jeffrey Macdonald reading number 12. If you have been following this series, good for you. You're all caught up. If you have not been following this series, you can find this series on my YouTube channel, Sandra's Stenography and Shorthand Dictation. And go to the playlist, the Q&A playlist, and you'll find all of these wonderful videos there. Now, also, if you have not subscribed, please subscribe today. You see the banner, and the banner says, please help me get to 1,000 subs. So please subscribe today. It really does help. If you have a comment, please leave me a comment. If you're liking the series, give me a thumbs up. All of the engagements that you do here on YouTube helps me with my channel. It helps me with the algorithm. The good old algorithm. The good old YouTube algorithm. What all of us chase here who make videos. So please drop me a line, thumbs up, subscribe, and please hit the bell for notifications so you'll know the next time I decide I want to get myself up and make a video, which is quite often, I hope. All right, guys, let's go ahead. Let's go. Oh, and I'm sure now, if you have been following me, you see that I've got the overlay removed. Look at that, guys. I'm just a whiz kid over here. Now, Jeffrey Macdonald, this is going to be reading number 12. Yes. And of course, this is still August 13th, and we still have Jeffrey Macdonald on the stand. Mr. WOERHEIDE is asking him questions. There is something I wanted to mention, but I can't seem to think of it right now. Anyway, I'm going to put some of the things that you may hear in this video in the description, so it won't, like the Rorschach test. That spelling will be in here, and so will Mr. WOERHEIDE's name, in case any of you would like to subscribe to transcribe this, which I do highly recommend, by the way. Okay. Ready? This will probably be around 120, 140. Just an estimate. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's right. Question. All right. Once again, I'm not asking you for any privileged communications, but I want to know about your engagement of Mr. MALLEY and how he became involved in this. Answer. He wrote to me and expressed his dismay at the turn of events and wanted to make sure that I was obtaining civil counsel, because he told me that the military counsel have a problem, because if the prosecutor is a colonel or major and the defense is a captain, that there's a difference. There's not supposed to be, but in fact there is. And he said, you'd better make sure you have civilian counsel. It makes a difference. And I don't remember what transpired next. I think he was on leave and he came to see me. And Captain DOUTHAT had already mentioned that he was going to need help. And I don't really know how it came up, but it came up. We were sitting around and I said, quote, well, how about Mike MALLEY? He graduated very high in Harvard Law and was acting as a trial lawyer for the Army anyway, close quote. And I said, quote, why not get him? It's someone we know and trust and wouldn't pass on information to the prosecution, close quote, as another was. So to make a long story short, He applied for orders to be attached to Fort Bragg for the duration of an Article 32 as my trial counsel, assistant trial counsel. I don't know if that's the correct word, a lawyer for me, and the orders were granted. Question now, how long prior to the commencement of to the Article 32 did he arrive in Fort Bragg? Answer, I don't remember. It was, I don't remember. Question, well, when did the Article 32 commence? Answer, well, you mean literally or allegedly? It commenced like June 1st. Not the Article 32, but the orders were formal, something like that. It was a charging ceremony where my commanding officer had to read the charges and I had to have counsel present and whatnot. And that was adjourned until July. Question, did he come prior to that date? Answer, he was there for some period of time, but it was leave time. It wasn't on orders. He was using up his leave time. Question, do you recall when he took some leave the first time and came to visit you approximately? Answer, no, sometime. Question, it would be sometime about May, wouldn't it? Answer, yes, sometime in May. And I think he was there for a while in June. And then he was there for the Article 32 until September when he got orders to Vietnam. Question, when was it you went to Philadelphia? Answer, I would say in late April. Late April or early May. It must have been April. It must have been April. I think it was April because Mr. SEGAL wanted to go further into my recollections and began essentially preparing for the defense, I guess. Question, did Captain DOUTHAT accompany you to Philadelphia? Answer, yes, he did. Question, anyone else? Answer, I don't think so. Question, now, when you went up there, were you informed in advance that they would employ a psychiatrist and make an examination of you? Answer, that who would employ? Question, were you informed in advance by Mr. SEGAL or anyone else that they would employ a psychiatrist, a forensic psychiatrist? Answer, no, they did not. Question, to make an examination of you? Answer, lawyers like to spring things. With about 3 seconds to go, they tell you things. So I didn't know until I got there. No. Question, did they ask you to agree to this? Answer, sir, I really think that we are treading on communications between the lawyer and the client. Question, well, I'll ask you this. Did you agree to it? Answer, did I have a psychiatric? Question, well, I know you had a psychiatric examination. I know Dr. SADOFF testified at the Article 32 of his examination of you. Answer, yes, I agreed to a psychiatric examination. Question, well, let me ask you this. Did you have any reluctance to agree to it? Answer, sure. I had reluctance to agree to it. Who wants to lay on a couch for 3 or 4 days to talk to a psychiatrist, especially in the emotional state I was in at the time? As a matter of fact, defense attorneys sometimes don't have much feelings. As a matter of fact, Mr. SEGAL said that we have to look into your sanity. We have to see if it's conceivable, no matter what the evidence shows. What's your life, who you are, what you're capable of. Question, do you recall the approximate date when this psychiatric examination was performed? I assumed it extended over several days. Answer, it did. I don't know the dates. Question, now, besides seeing Dr. SADOFF, did you also see a psychologist who gave you certain tests? Answer, yes, I did. But I think we're going to have to stop talking about attorney-client relationships. Question, I'm not asking you what you said to him. Answer, yes, you are. Question, I'm not asking what the psychologist said to you. I'm just asking you, were you examined by a psychologist who gave you certain tests? Answer, yes, and all the results were forwarded to the Army. The Army had it all for their psychiatric examination. Question, now, when you say, quote, all the results, close quote, what are you referring to, sir? Answer, the results of the examinations that I had in Philadelphia. Question, was this some sort of report, some sort of document, or series of documents? Answer, I presume a series of documents. There was a psychologist and a psychiatrist. Question, have you seen the documents? Answer, just summaries by my lawyers. Question, when you were sent to Walter Reed? Answer, at the end of the Article 32 hearing in August of 1970. Question, was testimony still being taken at that time? Answer, I believe when we returned, it had effectively been closed. And when we returned, there were rebuttal witnesses or something. There were a few more witnesses when we came back. I think the effective testimony, prosecution, defense had been finished. Question, how long did you stay in Washington? Answer, at least a week. Question, how many people examined you there? Answer, 3 psychiatrists. Question, was there any further testing done there by a psychologist? Answer, I don't remember. I had electroencephalogram, brain waves. I don't know. I don't think there was any. You mean the Minnesota multiphasic personality type test? Question, yes. The Rorschach test. Answer, no. Question, that sort of thing? Answer, I don't think so. Question, the only type of tests that were made in Philadelphia were by psychologists there? Answer, that's right. Question, the results of those tests were made available to the psychiatrists at Walter Reed Hospital? Answer, I believe the psychiatrists at Walter Reed wanted to review those to see if they had to redo them, and they decided they didn't need to do their own. I think that's the way it worked out. They found the results, I don't know, well done or accurate. I don't know how you would tell, but they said they didn't feel they had to repeat them. Question, and neither at Philadelphia nor at Walter Reed were you given a sodium amytal type test? You've explained that previously because it required you to relive the incident, and it wasn't done either place, I take it. Answer, right. Question, how long did you spend with Dr. SADOFF as distinguished from the psychologist? Answer, I don't remember. Question, do you recall? Answer, I honestly don't remember. Question, was it part of one day or more than one day? Answer, oh, it was more. Question, how many days? Answer, I don't remember. I don't know. I would guess. Question, could it have been more than 3 days? Answer, I would say that it would be the upper limits. It was parts of 2 or 3 days. The Army, I believe, was 5. Question, now, do you know a man named, as I recall, you said that these tests were made by Dr. SADOFF, probably about the end of April, possibly the beginning of May. I think you said the end of April. The Walter Reed test or examination was made in August. Now, between those intervals, did you talk to anyone, not a lawyer, not a psychiatrist, not a psychologist, concerning the incident of February 16, 17? Answer, no one except reporters. Question, who were the reporters? Answer, I really don't remember, sir. There were hundreds of them. You know, they were all over the place all the time. Question, did you give a full description of the matter to any of those reporters? Answer, I gave a statement, a long statement to one of the reporters. Question, what was his name? Answer, John Cummings. Question, and he was a reporter with, answer, Newsday. Question, and where did you give the statement? Answer, Fort Bragg. Question, and was this in your quarters at Fort Bragg? Answer, no. It was in a room in the Article 32 building. Question, was there anyone else present besides you and John Cummings? Answer, I don't remember. Question, was this done with the knowledge of your attorneys? Answer, certainly. Question, how long did it take to give the statement to John Cummings? Answer, I don't remember. Question, was it tape recorded? Answer, I believe it was. Question, was it published? Answer, yes, it was. Question, it was serialized in Newsday, wasn't it? Appeared over a period of time? Answer, 2 days. Question, I take it this was a voluntary statement that you made. Answer, yes. Question, was the entire interview published or only excerpts from it? Answer, I don't remember. I don't know. Question, were you furnished with a copy of the tape of the interview? Answer, no. Question, do you have any objection to our obtaining from John Cummings a copy of the tape of the interview? Answer, you'll have to talk to Mr. Cummings. It's not my property. Question, would you personally have any objection to it? Answer, only that my experience with government prosecutors in the past has not been very good. And you would have to view the tape with the understanding that that was a statement to a reporter. It was not the same thing as question, well, I understand you were under oath or you were not. Answer, it isn't even that. It's this was a duty for me to, to sort of try to equalize all the bad things my family had to read up on Long Island and stuff, and the Kassabs at that time, my in-laws. Question, well, let me ask you this. Is there anything that you said in that statement that you feel at this time you would like to retract? Answer, I'd have to reread it. Question, I'll get a copy of the statement. I'll give it to you. I'll afford you an opportunity to reread it tonight. I'd like to know, answer, sir. In other words, what you're saying is that you're viewing the statement as a statement of fact from me. Otherwise, you wouldn't be interested in it. Question, well, it is a statement by you recounting your recollections of the events of February 16th, 17th, and also certain events that took place slightly before that time. For example, the 24 hours you spent at Hamlet, the conversation that you had with Ron Harrison in your quarters on Saturday preceding, and answer, this wasn't even really with thought. This is just talking to the reporter. And if there wasn't an answer to a question, you tell him it could be vaguely correct. It's not at all like question. That's what I would like you to tell us. I would like you to examine the statement actually and tell us we have a copy of the statement as it is printed. Answer, I should turn this around and say, do you want me to bring Colonel KRIWANEK's news clippings? What he said in the press? Question, sir, I'm not interested in what Colonel KRIWANEK said. Answer, well, you should be. Question, I'm interested in what you as a witness, having knowledge of certain facts, had to say. Answer, but the newspaper isn't facts. That's the thing. And this is an interview sort of arranged by high-powered defense attorneys who wanted sort of a story told publicly. If I had it my way, I wouldn't even have given the interview. That's not a legitimate thing to me. Question, well, this is a statement that you made for the benefit of anybody who chose to read the statement, and the statement is attributed directly to you. Answer, sir, I think there's a much fuller, better account of this in the Article 32 investigation taken under oath. Question, but this was prior to the Article 32. You were not under any pressure. You were not under any strain. Answer, I beg to differ with you. Question, it was done voluntarily, and it purports to cover the same territory. Answer, to imply that I wasn't under pressure at that time in my life is outrageous. I was under tremendous. Question, did Mr. Cummings put you under pressure? Answer, the interview was to me, yes. Question, you were tense. Answer, yes, I was tense. Mr. WOERHEIDE. Question, you think you said you should not have said? You think you said anything you should not have said? Answer, I don't know. I'd have to reread it. I don't reread newspaper clippings. Question, I'll give you a copy of it before we close today and afford you an opportunity to reread it, and we'll discuss it further tomorrow. Did you give a comparable statement to any other reporter, any other interviewer? Answer, not that I'm aware of. That means no. Question, now, have I covered all the statements that you may have given that you can recall between February 17th and December 4th to anybody that might obtain for the purpose of seeking out leads or other helpful information that might resolve this matter? Answer, I can't think of any other long formal type statements or interviews that haven't been mentioned. Question, all right. We come to December 4th. Do you recall after December 4th, you did make a number of statements, not about the incident of February 16, 17, but about the conduct of the investigation and the Article 32 proceedings? Answer, I sure did. Question, well, I would like to ask a preliminary question before I get into this. Did you and your counsel or anyone else for your benefit or on your behalf employ any in private investigation in connection with the Article 32 proceedings? Answer, yes, I'm sure that occurred at some point. Question, can you tell us who employed them and who they were? Answer, no. Question, what knowledge do you have of the fact that there were certain private investigators employed? Answer, just conversations with my attorneys. Question, did your attorneys employ private investigators? Answer, you'll have to ask them. Question, what? Answer, you'll have to ask them, Mr. WOERHEIDE. Question, did you have any voluntary investigators acting on your behalf? Answer, yes. Question, who were they? Answer, I don't know. Question, were any investigative reports submitted which you saw? Answer, you mean formal investigative reports like a detective? Question, formal, informal. Answer, I never saw any. No, sir. Question, to your knowledge, did your attorneys receive an investigative reports of any nature, formal or informal? Answer, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Question, well, did anyone tell you that information had been supplied by any individuals? Answer, certainly. Question, that might be helpful to you? Answer, certainly. Question, who told you that? Answer, sir, we had hundreds of pieces of information supplied to us constantly, every day. Question, that's what I'm trying to find out. I'm trying to ascertain the identity of any individuals who felt that they were in a position to furnish useful information in this matter. Useful information that might help you to resolve the matter that was the subject of the Article 32 proceeding. I want to pursue any investigative leads that we can come up with. Answer, sure. What was the question? Question. The question is, what were you told? You said you didn't see any documentation, but what were you told, if anything, about such information that had been volunteered and submitted by? Answer, what I am aware of is mainly verbal communications from reporters. I heard comments about investigators. I don't know if, in fact, paid investigators were retained. We received a lot of things in the mail without ever knowing who sent it to us. We received copies. Question, did you keep those things, retain those things? Answer, certainly. Usually it was something the Army was trying to hide. Question, what did you do with it? Do you still have it? Answer, yes, sure. Question, will you make it available? Answer, it depends. Question, I'm requesting that you make it available. Answer, some things I will not make available. Question, I am requesting that you make available to us what you are willing to make available to us. Answer, I'll have to discuss that with Mr. Segal, sir. It's germane and relevant. Absolutely. That's what I'm here for. But we're talking about, question, you said some of it you would not make available. What will you not make available to us? Answer, well, for instance, when my lawyers were assaulted by the MPs and the CID, there are photographs available of my attorney flying through the air, landing on his head. The official FBI report stated, quote, my lawyer wrenched himself violently to one side, threw himself to the ground, and knocked himself out, close quote. This was witnessed by 4 newsmen and Lieutenant Spahn from the Public Information Office. And the FBI and the CID investigation concludes that it was staged by my attorneys. When my car was surrounded by 4 MPs and an Army MP, and a car pulled up behind us, pulled us out of the car, knocked my lawyers to the ground, took me to my room, took the hair samples. The FBI report states, I repeat, it states that this was staged by my attorneys. I would not give you those pictures. No. The FBI had been trying to get them for 4 years. That's what I will not give you. Question, if you won't give them to us, that's your privilege. Answer, that's right. And if that's the kind of investigation we're talking about, question, I'm asking you to make available for the benefit of this grand jury any specific information. Answer, that doesn't have any relationship, question, that you have in your possession that might throw some light on this. Answer, I'll discuss that with Mr. Siegel. And if there's something relevant, that is, sure. But, I have to discuss it with Mr. Siegel. I'm not aware of formal written statements from paid or volunteer investigators. No. Question, all right, sir. I have a Newsday article that was published 1970, and the headline is, quote, "Beret Freed and Family Deaths," close quote. And it says in part, quote, "Macdonald and his attorneys expect to conduct their own investigation. The Army never followed up on some of the leads that we turned up," Macdonald said. "I plan to do a lot of writing and investigating." Now, did you in fact turn up and turn over to the Army leads resulting from your investigation? Answer, yes, yes. Question, will you be specific? Answer, what specifically I am referring to now is testimony reference to a female individual and a male or males in Fayetteville that was testified to in the Article 32. That was brought apparently to the CID's notice by us by luck. We lucked onto this information purely by what my attorneys tell me. Absolute chance. And that was turned over on multiple occasions. And we have sworn testimony that it was allegedly reinvestigated. I'm sure you're familiar with that testimony. Question, all right. Now, that's one item. Now tell me about the other leads you turned up. Answer, when I left the Army, sir, I asked for a civilian, not an Army reinvestigation. It became very apparent at this time that an Army reinvestigation of the Army was a little ludicrous. And I went to the Justice Department in December and banged on the desk. And they even refused to interview me. I had a congressman with me. Okay, they wouldn't even talk to me. They wouldn't even give me the courtesy of saying hello. It was by a phone from down the hall. They rejected any information we could give them. Question, you went to the Department of Justice in Washington, D.C.? Answer, that is correct. Question, who was the congressman? Answer, Congressman Alan Lowenstein. Question, do you remember the date? Answer, no, I don't. It was in December. Question, do you remember where you went? Answer, to the Justice Department. Question, well, do you remember where you went in the Justice Department? Answer, no, I'm sure it's logged in. Question, did you go to the Criminal Division? Answer, yes, I did. Question, did you go to the office of the Assistant Attorney General in charge of the Criminal Division? Answer, I'm sure that's what it was. Question, whom did you see there? Answer, I don't know. Will Wilson pops into mind. I don't know if that's correct. Question, Will Wilson was the Assistant Attorney General in charge of the Criminal Division. Did you see him? Answer, I believe we talked to him on the phone. Well, I talked to him on the phone. Question, now, Henry Peterson was then the first assistant to Will Wilson. Did you see him? Answer, okay, the first phone call from the lobby was to Mr. Wilson. He referred me to, I guess it was Mr. Peterson, wasn't it? I believe it was either that order or vice versa order. And both of them categorically refused to even discuss the case with me. Absolutely refused categorically to discuss anything about the case with me. Question, all right, where did you go then? Answer, I don't remember. Question, did you go to the office of a Mr. Belcher? Answer, I don't remember a Mr. Belcher. Question, did they refer you to the FBI? Answer, I don't think they referred us to the FBI. We had already seen letters from the FBI, the state police, the Fayetteville police, the State Bureau of Investigation, and the Justice Department refusing responsibility in the case. None of them would reinvestigate the case. I had already seen those letters. It seemed a little futile. Question, you say you banged on the desk? Whose desk did you bang on? Answer, I don't know. I honestly don't know. It was a secretary type desk. It wasn't on Mr. Peterson's desk. Question, now, you were carrying with you at that time to turn over to the Department of Justice any information, any leads that you had turned up as a result of your investigation? Answer, I don't remember. I think it was probably, it it was sort of an information sheet that I had put together for that purpose. And also, Lieutenant Malley's letter was now in Vietnam. Question, do you have a copy of that information sheet? Answer, I believe I do. Question, do you have a copy of Lieutenant Malley's letter? Answer, right. Question, will you make those available to the grand jury? Answer, surely. Question, all right. I'll quote further from this article. Quote, we hope to get either the appropriate civilian agency or to get our own investigators so we can find the real killers, close quote. Did you in fact hire your own investigators? Answer, I never hired investigators, no. My lawyers cost me $30,000 up to that point. My mother had to sell her house to pay for it. Plus, I was trying to rebuild a life, and it became a little bizarre. And no, I didn't. That's one of my great sins, apparently. Question, it says, quote, both attorneys have criticized Army investigators for their methods of obtaining evidence against Macdonald, close quote. That's a very general allegation. What are the specifics behind that? Answer, for obtaining evidence. Question, their methods of obtaining evidence against Macdonald, close quote. Answer, I'm sure they're referring to the crime scene back on 17 February. I'm sure that in their mind, they're referring to the way they're finally achieved their desired goal of getting hair samples. I'd like to state, sir, that you may or may not know that I never refused hair samples. All I said to the Army was that I requested an order from my commanding officer. I was a good Army officer. All I ever said to them was tell Colonel Kane to give me an order and I'll give him hair samples. And they didn't. So they ran our car off the road. That's how they got hair samples. That was never a refusal. There was a motion filed in federal court by my attorneys. Question, to enjoin the taking? Answer, to enjoin the taking of hair samples, I vehemently oppose. But the point was when that court, the federal court, denied that they didn't have jurisdiction, leaving it hanging, because that means no one has jurisdiction or something like that. And I told them I would give them a hair sample if Colonel Kane would issue a direct order for me to do so. You know, I was still on active duty. The orders that I followed out were by my commanding officer. He is the one who signed orders about who would visit me, where I could go, what I could eat, everything I could do. All right. Hopefully this was another successful broadcast brought to you by the Steno Duchess at Sandra'sSteno.com. Let me stop. Hopefully this was an excellent another practice for you at Sandra's Stenography and Shorthand Dictations. I hope you enjoyed it. Practice and practice and practice and practice and practice. And I promise you, if you can't write this today, you'll be able to write this at some point in your life. At some point, trust me. Anyway, I was trying to give my fast writer something because, I'm always trying to look out for them. Trying to make sure them fingers keep moving, keep them popping, keep them moving. All right, this was a great summer read. I am, okay, leave me some comments. You know, I love doing the Jeffrey Macdonald case, but I really want you guys to leave me some comments. Tell me what you think. What do you think about? I know I'm kind of reading it, but can you imagine this guy sitting there after 4 years, and then, of course, he's somewhat hostile. Of course, he's a hostile witness. I would be hostile too if the Army had already done their investigation. Then you call me back 4 years later, and I know there's no statute of limitations or murder. But you call me back 4 years later and tell me that now you've decided to have another hearing and you want me to dredge up all of this. All of this that happened. I mean, it must be very difficult. And of course, he's going to be somewhat hostile. Of course, he's going to be somewhat bitter. Of course, he's going to be somewhat, because you can tell even by the tone, even if I wasn't reading it that way, it's going to come across that way because the guy is just pissed off, as I'm sure all of us would be. So leave me your comments. What do you think about the case? Are you liking the case? Please give me a thumbs up if you like what I'm doing. It lets me know that you guys like what I'm doing and that to continue. That's the only way I really have to communicate with you guys, because most of the time I do the lives and they're private. But as my audience continues to grow, shout out to all my new subscribers. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus, child. And let me see. I might be able to call out some of your names. Let me see here. Give me 1 second. Let me get some shout outs. Let me see if I can get some shout outs. If it's going to show me on my phone, because I'm trying to look at my subscribers on my phone. I don't know if it's going to let me look at it. If it don't, I'll have to give you guys a shout out on my next video. I mean, by name. That's how serious I am. So I'm looking to see if it's going. Darn. Well, I know. Wait a minute. Because I seen something today. Hold on. I know I seen somebody say. Oh, here's one person. Ida. Thank you, Ida. Ida A. I'm not going to say your last name. Thank you, Ida A, for subscribing. I saw you subscribe to me earlier today. And there I am on your page. So I say thank you, Ida, for subscribing. And I will give the rest of you guys a shout out who I may have missed, because I don't think it's going to let me. Settings. The phone gives me limited things here. But thank you, Ida, and thank you to all my other new subscribers who I will give you a shout out on the next video. Thank you so much for subscribing. It means the most to me. And from one Steno girl to the next, you guys rock. You guys are the best. Thank you so much, you guys, for helping me get to 1,000 subscribers. Woohoo! All right, let's go ahead and end the broadcast. I want to thank you all for being here. I will see you at the next video, I hope. And also, please don't forget to check out the podcast at Let's Write Steno. Just type Let's Write Steno. In case for anybody that does not like videos and would prefer just to hear my voice and concentrate on just my voice, please go to Let's Write Steno. That's the podcast. Got great content over there. And I'm also going to start putting exclusive content that you will only find on the podcast. All right? Tests and all good kind of stuff going to be going on over there. So please go over there and make sure you subscribe over there as well. And you can also hit me up on Facebook at Court Reporters Plus and Blogspot. And my Blogspot is Steno Slayers 24/7. Boom. That's everything, guys. Good night. See you at the next video. Bye.